We were denied a truly wild sequel to Jumanji. The classic Robin Williams movie was a decent sized hit at the box office in 1995. It made 262 million against a $65 million budget, which means Sony probably should have fast tracked the sequel as soon as like 1996. That never happened. But now Chris Van Allsburg, who wrote and illustrated the original book, has opened up about one of Sony's sequel ideas that was just downright bonkers. So you remember how at the end of Jumanji, two French-speaking girls are walking along the beach towards the game, which is buried in the sand? Van Allsburg told Syfy last month that in this sequel concept, that beach would have been Normandy, France, and that the game, after it made its way across the ocean, would end up in an antique shop in Normandy. Then, sometime later, the President of the United States, who is visiting the French beach town to commemorate D-Day, walks into the shop and buys Jumanji for his kids. You can probably guess where this is going. Jumanji mayhem at the White House and in the halls of Congress. Allsburg explains, they had some crazy stuff. I think there was a gorilla that climbs the Washington Monument in an homage to King Kong. We've seen a lot of wacky White House hijinks over the years since Jumanji came out, but had Robin Williams and the original cast come back for this, I think it could have been pretty good. Okay, this next part is a little gruesome. Van Allsburg explained that the DC concept also included animals getting chopped into pieces by helicopter blades, but then because they're magic, they recombined into new hybrid species. The author called this totally idiotic and just an excuse for Sony to show off what it could do with CGI at the time. Meanwhile, Robin Williams was really in demand in the mid-90s, and he reportedly didn't want to fully commit to another long production schedule. So Van Allsburg pitched a different sequel idea, one that had Robin Williams turning into a talking toad for most of the movie. That way he'd have fewer on-set shooting days and could do most of his performance via voiceover. Unfortunately, that one never came to be either. Anyway, Van Allsburg hated the White House sequel idea so much that he wrote Zathura as a way to distract Sony, and it worked. The studio bought the film rights to his sequel just off a book proposal, and then Jon Favreau directed the film, which is basically What If Jumanji but space. It ended up flopping at the box office in 2005, which led Sony to go back into development on a Jumanji sequel, eventually rebooting the story for modern times with the video game-centric Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle in 2017. That movie made $995 million worldwide.